Have you ever wanted to know how much it costs to employ a professional painter and decorator? Well, in today's video, we'll look at how much you can expect to pay a decent painter and decorator wherever you live in the country. Also, if you watch my video to the end, I'll show you how you can get hold of some extra information to make choosing the perfect painter and decorator for you even easier. One of the questions I'm asked the most is how much does it cost to employ a decent painter and decorator? If you're like me, it's always a worry when you're getting work carried out, you know, to strike that happy balance between getting a decent job but not paying over the odds to achieve that. So today we look at what the average price is for a decorator throughout the UK. To make this video easier to understand, I've broken it down into three parts. To start with, we're going to look at a few things that can increase the cost of employing a painter and decorator. Then secondly, we're going to look at ways to reduce that cost and save you some money. And then thirdly, the most important bit, is the different costs of employing a painter and decorator wherever you live in the country. I'm also going to show you where you can download some information that makes choosing a painter and decorator even easier. People are often shocked and surprised at how much it costs to employ a decent painter and decorator and therefore resort to cheaper alternative labour. This can be a false economy. While sometimes this option can work out reasonably well, 9 times out of 10 it does end up being a bit of a problem, as these pictures will show you. Once you find yourself in this state, you're left with a few problems to sort out. One is you've got to find yourself someone to carry on the work. 2, you might have to take additional time off work to be around while the work's carried out. 3, you might be working to a time scale. You might want the job finished for a special occasion, and therefore the time scales could be reduced and be a bit of a problem. The fourth and the worst option is you may not have enough budget left to get the job completed and therefore may not have to get the work done or carry on doing the work yourself, so you're back to square one in a worst case scenario. Another factor that can have a big bearing on the job are the materials you choose to use. Recently I've seen a big increase in the number of customers wanting to supply materials themselves. In my opinion, this is one of the worst decisions you can make and can substantially add to the price you originally quoted. Yes, you can buy cheap paint, however cheap paint is cheap for a reason. Most decent trade paints can achieve a really good finish with 2 coats, whereas cheaper paints can take 3, 4 or even 5 coats to achieve the same results. Therefore, although you originally saved money buying cheap paint, you're paying over the odds with the extra labour it will cost you to have that applied to the walls, without the fact that you may have to buy more of the cheap paint to achieve the same result. So in fact, the money you've saved buying cheap paint, you've more than paid for with the extra labour. And after all, the reason you're using a professional decorator is for their expertise, knowledge and experience. So wouldn't it make sense to leave the materials decisions to the decorator, as they know which materials produce reliable results time and time again? After all, you don't go to a restaurant and ask a chef to cook a piece of T-bone steak for you, do you? You rely on their product selection and their skill to produce a decent meal. So why not let the decorator do the same? After spending the last few minutes showing you what will increase the cost of your decorating work, let's look at some ways you can save some money for you. We can start with an easy one that can save a lot of time and a lot of money, and that is making sure the room that's to be decorated is ready when the decorator turns up. So that means taking down any pictures that are on the walls, removing any picture hooks that you don't want to use anymore, removing anything valuable from the room, and whatever furniture is left in the room, moving it into the middle of the room so you can work around the outside of the room. That would be a good saving on time and money, because I know some decorators are actually charging now anything between £50 and £175 if they turn up and the room needs emptying. It's a price they put on as a premium to cover extra work. So you can save yourself some money there from day one. Next, whenever possible, try and have 2 rooms decorated at once. That means you can work between 2 rooms rather than being stuck in one room, and it's normally cheaper to decorate 2 rooms than it is one at a time. So this is always worth bearing in mind as well, because like I say, it saves time, materials and money to get 2 rooms decorated and not 1. Finally, another good way to save money is to decide what time of year you'd like the work done. Ideally you'll be looking from January to March, and I'll tell you why. A decorator's year normally goes from April till October. That's our busiest time of year. That's when we're doing outsides and we've got longer days, warmer weather. We can get a lot of work done. So we're sort of quite flat out there. And also, because it's outside work, we've probably got that booked in a year or 2 years in front of ourselves. So we're doing, you know, we've got that guaranteed work. The next period would be from October to December, where we've picked up work through the summer. And also we've got the Christmas rush, where customers want their homes looking nice for visitors at Christmas. So that's the sort of second busiest time of the year. And our quietest time of year is from January to March. So if you're looking to get any work done and you'd like to sort of get a bit of a deal, I'd advise getting work done between January and March in the quieter times of the year. I hope these tips have helped you save money if you're considering using a decorator in the future. Now we move on to the most important part, the part you've been waiting for, which is how much it costs to employ a decorator throughout the UK. Now before we start, I've based this on the average size of a room in the UK. Now I didn't know what the average size room was, so I did a Google search, and it turns out the average size of a room is 3 metres by 3 metres, which is about 10 foot by 10 foot. That's our size room, and what I've allowed for is a piece of windowsill to be undercoated and glossed, skirting boards, one side of a door, and a door frame. So that's the woodwork we're painting, and I've allowed for 2 coats on the ceiling and 2 coats on the wall. So that's what we're up against, and for that to be done, I've allowed 2 days. So let's start off in Scotland, where the average rate is between £120 and £160 a day. So the average room there would be looking at £240 to £320 to be completed. Moving on to the North East and Norfolk, these day rates for that region are about the same. So you're looking at about £150 a day. For the room to be completed there, you'll be looking at around £300. Moving on to the spray tan capital of the UK, Essex, you're looking at about £160 a day there for the day rate. So to get your room decorated there, you're looking at about £320. So moving from Essex to Sussex, Kent and the South Coast, you're looking at about £180 a day there, £360 to get the room decorated in those areas. Now you might want to sit down for this one. We're moving to London, and as we know, London is not a cheap place, and also depending where the work's being carried out, that has a big influence on the cost too. But you're looking at a minimum of £250 a day. For your average room there, you're looking at about £500, which is understandable because, like I said, it's London and everything's expensive. Anyway, let's leave London and move to Hampshire, Berkshire and the home counties. For those areas, you're looking at about £200 a day, so you're down to £400, which is a little bit better, and you saved yourself £100 to go out in London for the night. Now we're moving down to Bristol and the West Country, where they're back to sort of Scotland rates of £120 to £150 a day. So again, it's a sort of £240 to £300 to get your room painted and decorated there. Finally, we're going to move to South Wales, and their day rates there vary between £100 and £150. So same room there, you're looking at about £200 to £300 to get the room completed. Finally, I just need to say that these are ballpark labour figures. They don't include materials, they don't include parking, they don't include sundries such as fillers, sandpapers, anything like that, and they are just a rough guide. So don't shoot me down if, you know, well, you told me this and you told me that. Like I say, they are just a rough guide to give you a rough idea of what you can expect to pay, so that if somebody comes in a lot cheaper than the prices I've told you, then, you know, it's gonna sort of set alarm bells ringing. You're gonna think, well, you know, why is he that much cheaper? So it may be a question, you know, I was expecting to pay this, why are you this much cheaper? You know, it may just help you out of a spot. As you can see, there are so many variables involved in decorating. The only real way to find out how much your project is going to cost is to ask a decorator to come out, look at your job and give you a detailed quote. Now I can understand all this is a lot of information to get your head around. So if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. A while ago I put together a little guide that I give to my customers that helps you know the right questions to ask a decorator, the information to ask to be seen, like public liability, are they insured, can they show you a copy of their insurance, all these little things that will help you when deciding to use a decorator. I'll leave a link in the description below, so you click on that and it will take you to the guide, and hopefully it will be some help for you. If you found this interesting, please click the like button. If you found it interesting and you'd like to see some more, click subscribe. And also, if you'd like to be notified when more videos like this are uploaded, click the bell icon and you'll be sent a reminder. We really do appreciate it. We are trying to give you content that you'll enjoy. Let me know if this is what you want to see. So until next time, take care. If you enjoyed that video, you might enjoy this video. Or why not try that one?